Toastmaster. When Nathan asked me to come and be involved for tonight, and I heard the topic was empowerment, I could barely stop squealing on the phone. Clearly, wow, I mean, what rotates my crops, what lights my fire and what has done for many years is this topic, because it's a fascinating topic. I mean, has anyone got an elixir? Can anyone put empowerment in a bottle? I mean, it changes the day, doesn't it? If you get out on the right side of the bed and have your Vegemite toast or 10 Wheat Bix or whatever you're going to smash, and you put your best foot forward and you feel empowered in that day, what can you do? Almost anything you set your mind to. If you need to be resilient, those things will bounce off you. If you need to run through walls, those things, you'll run through walls. All of a sudden you're relaxed, your inhibitions melt away, you're calm, you're confident. You've got some sort of strength or superpower. Empowerment is known by many different ways, but what is it? Exactly. As a coach, I look at this from a different perspective, and there's 3 things I'd like to mention tonight. Just reminding it for some of us, and for some of us who are doing this for the first time, humans are not that complicated. We are the sum of 3 things at any given moment. All of us, here as well as beyond these walls. There are 3 things that make you up at any given time. You're participating in 3 things at once. Now, I would love you to have a stab at these. Just pretend you've got Tourette's and just blurt out what you think they are. And I apologise if I've offended anyone with Tourette's.
Breathing.
All right, so breathing is something that you do. So you're doing something. Sitting, standing.
Biology.
Biology, the doing side of biology. Yeah, so we're doing something. Physically.
Willpower?
Right, now this is a mental application. So we're thinking something. It might be to do with willpower, might not. But we're thinking something, we're doing something. We've got a mental and we've got a physical existence. There's one to go.
Emotions?
We're feeling something, yeah. At any given moment, as a human, we're experiencing thought, feelings, and our body's doing something. We might be aware of what we're experiencing or we might not. Most of the time, we've kind of got it all covered, really. It's on autopilot. Now, the topic's empowerment. What is empowerment? Is it a thought, is it a feeling, or is it something that we do? You're probably going to suggest it's all 3, and I can't disagree with that. However, you feel empowered. Empowerment is something you feel, it's an emotion. And we know that whatever we're feeling is influenced by what we're thinking and what we're doing. So the first thing I'd like you to think about is that some days things go right. You're out on the right side of your bed, your Vegemite toast, best foot forward, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't even wake up in your own bed. I'm just making assumptions. What happens then? What happened to the magic formula if you need to facilitate empowerment? Well, some people use the word synthesize, which I really like. Can you synthesize empowerment? It doesn't mean fake it. Synthetic doesn't mean fake. If you're wearing a synthetic garment from a synthetic fabric, it's a real fabric, it's a real garment. It's just made. It's synthesized. You created it. You manufactured it. And I would like you to think about the notion of manufacturing your own empowerment. When you can, when you need it, for how much, what context. Can you facilitate that? Is there a little ritual or routine, or are there things that can anchor you with your thinking, with your physiology, to facilitate that emotional state? You know what? The more you look, the more you find. Can you turn up and feel empowered, have this relaxed aliveness, this little access, this superpower, with intent? Not on autopilot, but with intent. Both are great. We love both. But can we synthesize it when we need it? I'm going to leave that out as a little bit of a challenge. Next, being a Toastmaster organisation, leadership skills are to the front. And leadership requires you to work with others. How do you empower other people? This was a topic I had with a mentor of mine. His name is Darren Hill. He runs a company called Pragmatic Thinking. Cool name, right? But we're sitting down and we're talking about this idea of empowering others. So can you? Is that something you're in control? Is that something you can influence? And he told me of his little formula of the 3 Fs that he uses in organisational development. Probably not the F word that you're thinking. It's not one of them, okay? But there are 3 Fs. The first thing you've got to do, and you've got to learn to do as a leader, or as somebody who's organising a group for a task assignment, or in any area that you, as a club leader, you need to let people focus. How many horses can you sit on with one bottom? 1. Now, I'm not going out on a limb to say that multitask is or isn't possible. We all multitask, we multi-screen all the time. However, the research around this is pretty fascinating. It's quite new in that it often ends up you're doing a lot of things not well. If you can let your people, or if you are delegating tasks, good leadership skill, right? But if you can let somebody focus their energies in one area, on one task, or tasks that are linked, productivity goes up, empowerment, feelings go up. As well as focus, you've got to let people fail. Now, this is a tough one because in some organisations, failure is kind of a weakness. And I'll talk about that next. But in the organisations that thrive and that treat their people as humans that grow and evolve and learn, failure needs to be part of the game. And it needs to be celebrated because someone's having a go, right? So failure, how are we going to deal with failure, and can we set up some ground rules before it happens so that people feel safe, so that people feel supported when they need it? Because sometimes the first thing you'll do is if you do make a mistake, you'll slap a big L on your forehead and you probably won't feel very empowered at the time. Imagine if the opposite was true. That would be a wonderful place to work, or somebody to work for. Now the last one is let them finish. If you do give somebody a task, let them see it through. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, that somebody stood in and you've done a lot of great work and they've taken it from you and then gone, thanks, that's wonderful, I'll take it from here. Wow. Thanks. So the 3 Fs. Let them focus, let them fail, let them finish. And these are specific, oh there you go, there's my picture of a leader. This is probably why I don't really use PowerPoint that much in my evaluation. Yeah. But there's one last thing that I would like to mention, and I addressed it just earlier. If empowerment is a chain and the strength is the sum of its links, where does a chain break? Because the things you're focusing on, whether you synthesize empowerment or whether you feel it naturally, if you're lucky enough to be inspired and excited by and empowered by the people that lead you, where does the chain break? Where am I going with this? Because the chain doesn't break on the strong links, the things you're doing well. The chain breaks at its weakest link. And if we're going to talk truly about empowerment, we're going to have an authentic conversation as Toastmasters and as people and as future leaders and current leaders. This idea of vulnerability needs to be talked about because it is the facade that you put on to mask that which is disempowering, which is taking away all those things that make you beautiful, all the experiences you've had, even though some of you may have had experiences that really terrify you. A couple of years ago I got to work with a girl called Jane, and she had a really tough time in high school. I got to work with her in year 11, mostly around lifestyle, to tell you the truth. In years 9 and 10 she suffered from terrible, debilitating anxiety around both exams and in social situations. Something we can all relate to, right? But it was very overwhelming for her, and whenever it happened, she overreacted and it was quite paralysing. But by year 11, things were going quite well. And I got to work with her as a coach around lifestyle things that would support her in able to synthesise how she did want to feel, instead of going on autopilot to where she didn't want to feel. In the second half of year 11, she decided to go for a leadership role in year 12. And Jane became aware of the selection panel for her leadership ambitions was the pastoral care teacher who helped her through her anxiety issues in in years 9 and 10, right? So this was somebody who had been a real confidant of hers, who had helped her through a lot of issues. And the idea became a real roadblock for Jane because she felt her anxiety issues were a weakness, right? And this teacher knew all about them. And she wouldn't be a good leader because he had seen her at her worst. And she thought that was a real roadblock for her, even having a go at getting the role. Now, the turning point came when Jane decided that as a leader, somebody who could empathise and support and feel compassion for people experiencing issues would be an asset, not a liability, is when she put her best foot forward. Does that make sense? It became, instead of this ball and chain holding her back, it became a springboard launching her forward. Isn't that excellent to be able to embrace some sort of vulnerable part of ourselves, whether it be a little secret or something that's happened to us, something traumatic, something that we think ultimately in ourselves we're not worthy of what we're going for. Because that's the true test of personal growth. Honestly, I'm just getting started and the night is young. And at the same time, thank you so much for bringing me up here. Nathan and I are actually speaking in an event next week on campus called Hack 2017. The Student Guild are putting it on next Thursday night. We are only 2 of 4 speakers. The other 2 speakers are coming up from Melbourne. And it's going to be a great event next Thursday between 5 and 7 at the function room. I'm sure you've heard something about that. Just to finish off with, can you synthesise empowerment? Remember the 3 F's when you're involved in influencing other people? And ultimately, authenticity and empowerment come from being as strong as our weakest link. No, Toastmasters.